Yeah, I know what gets you going. It's piles of Grixis cards that you desperately hope are playable. So this is Grixis Specter, or Grixis discard maybe. We've got Duress and Thought Erasure here at the bottom. The Specter part of the deck's name comes from this direct to historic card here, Hypnotic Specter. When Hypnotic Specter deals combat damage, or deals any damage, sorry, to an opponent, that player discards a card at random. We've got this paired with the Grixis adventure creatures that are all like multi-format all-stars. These cards are answers and threats all wrapped up into one clean package. One thing that's really sweet about Hypnotic Specter in this deck in particular is that normally this card has diminishing returns as the game goes long and your opponent gets their hand empty. It combos well with Rankle. So when Rankle and Hypnotic Specter both hit our opponent, we get to choose the order in which their triggers go on the stack. So we can say Rankle, have both players draw a card, and then Hypnotic Specter, take away the card we just gave them. So Rankle along with Specter can ensure that like we're getting value off these Specter hits even in the mid to late game when our opponent would otherwise be empty-handed. We've also got Nicol Bolas here as another flying evasive threat. And then a couple of Dragon God at the top end. I think one thing that this deck does well that a lot of Grixis decks that have struggled in the past often fail to do is this deck's not trying to be super controlling, right? Like, we've got these creatures that are evasive. Some even have haste that allow us to potentially close out the game rather than trying to have it go long. Grixis often lacks the controlling cards needed to play a really long game, and this deck's not trying to do that. It's trying to disrupt the opponent a little bit, but then close the game out before they can recover from our disruption. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches here with this and see how this proactive Grixis deck does, huh? Hey, Scam Don, thanks for the third of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, this is fine. Again, adventure creature, Bonecrusher Giant especially, is a 2-drop and a 3-drop for us, which is quite excellent. So turn 2 play. Rankle's perfect as a pickup here. Let's just go 2, 3, 4 nicely. Vomit. Now, Adanto Vanguard is very good against control decks. Our deck has the possibility to maybe race this card because making our opponent pay for life to protect it can be a real drawback if we have creatures that are pressuring our opponent's life total accordingly. Temple of Triumph. Feather, maybe? This is a card that Feather's played with some consistency in the past. So they get to pay for it to make this indestructible, so it lives. The fact that I am playing the fairly painful Grixis mana base here could be a big deal. That's nice. I think I'm just hammering into these over and over and over again. They are playing Feather. Ooh, that's a good draw. It's a 1-mana spell that makes them pay 4, which is nice. Concedes to a God Willings here. Yep, so Feather allows them to rebuy any of their potential protection spells here, and then God's Willing gives their card protection from a color of their choosing, so. As always, you can type !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list that we are playing. You can also find the deck list via the Stream Decker widget on your screen. If you're on mobile, you can hit that little SD icon. Always do my best to try and make sure the information people want is available to them. Nicol, Bolas, God Dragon's probably a little bit slow here at the top end. Our deck doesn't really have good answers to Vanguard Hunt. Just need to be a little bit aggressive. We drown in the Loch's a trim here. I think Duress and Thought Erasure are good for poking through their God's Willing, so removal spells have a better chance of actually working. Vraska's Contempt is just slow and expensive in terms of how much mana it costs. Well, gotta get rid of that. Shock on our Adonto Vanguard's gonna, on our Hypnotic Specter is gonna be sad, but we keep the Murderous Rider here. There's definitely just to kill all the things matchup. Something's gonna get shocked at some point, so might as well be now. Disfigure is a good suggestion. That's a generically playable card that also answers Adonto Vanguard very cleanly. I like that one. Yep. I'm gonna have us both discard here. We'll trade our Steam Vents for a spell here, basically. Wow, they've been there God's Willing. That's interesting. Do I just assume they have another one here? What if I just play this and then attack an Edict? I feel like that's the line, right? This is Reckless Rage is the last card I get into trouble, though. Wow. Okay. Yeah, well, we sniffed out why they discarded a God's Willing. Each player discards, each player sacrifices a creature. So again, just like thoroughly running them out of resources here, which is great. Yeah, they need like exactly Feather at this point, right? And even then I have this Murderous Rider to cover it. Chris Alfie, thank you for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. You've been a wonderful Thursday reviewer. Rankle's Edict of Return works well with these adventure creatures too. We'll swap some Disfigures in post-board. Oh, I ran to the restroom, so I didn't restart the client. Might want to do that, too. Starting to get a little bit of a frame rate drop. Rankle's a really sweet, aggressive curve topper. I feel like I should probably take the time to explore, that seems a little awkward. Hopefully we draw a dual land on one. If I fetch Island with this, I can't cast my double black cards. If they have Vanguard on 2, we're probably just dead. Yeah, I don't know that we can really beat this card. The way the deck is currently constructed. We need to back out and put some Disfigures in our deck. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get some Disfigures in our deck here. What are there Unmoored Egos in our sideboard for? What is this card doing? Anyone? Bueller? It's like for Nexus. Nexus is legal in this format. It's like probably has a pretty hard time holding up Negate. I guess Negate's good against Nexus. Let's cut the 6th discard spell and the cast downs, I think. Forgot Nexus is legal. It's so weird that, like, they've banned the awful cards in, like, one of the formats and not the other. Obviously they love Pioneer more than us. Here in Historic. I mean, it actually has applications here, right? Like, Nexus wasn't in my head at first because, like, oh, they banned Nexus, but wait, that was the other non-rotating format? Yeah, I think there's a good chance that there's different people working on the different formats. I think there's a good chance of that. Must be that, Max. Welcome. Thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate you shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. Pioneer and Historic are about the same. Like, neither of these formats have really settled. Like, Historic or Pioneer we have more data on, but every time we get a decent amount of data, they shake things up in it. Stompy that one. Kiln Fiend, another of the cards they printed direct to Historic. I think Historic has a lot of potential. I like the idea of them dropping 20 cards in randomly. I think their first selection of 20 cards that they elected to put into this format was actually a really good selection. Yeah, this will be another matchup where Disfigure's likely good. Yeah, excluding BTE. Yes, Asterisk, BTE was stupid and sucks. Alright, well, they're out of gas. Spectre doesn't seem particularly useful here. Mostly just looking for removal spells. They said the next 20 cards for this set will be added in March. But they didn't say when in March. I mean, to be fair, Crunchy, I actually preferred Standard with Field of the Dead to the current Standard format we had now. So I definitely understand where they're coming from. I think Eldraine Standard 3.0 is fine, but if you ask me to pick between 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, I like 1.0 the most. I personally enjoyed brewing in Eldraine Standard 1.0 the most. I personally prefer formats where aggro decks tend to be better than they are right now. Like, I know Knights exists, but I think there was a wider range of aggro decks that I enjoyed in the previous format. That's a pretty good draw. This lets them clear off both my things. I have a lot left over, and they clearly have nothing left over, so we're still ahead. But, like, that was one of their better pickups there. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed the Mayonis. Yeah, the disc plates are great. Good quality stuff. We have a great selection of artwork on their website, too. Alright, well, seven power closes games out pretty quick here. Just like Rankle no modes. Rankle's just been like a 3/3 with haste so far. Okay. And grab another swamp here. I think I'd rather leave up Borrower than another Murderous Rider here. Argent Beacon, thank you for the third of your support. Welcome back. It's a Carnival. Carnage, Carnival, yeah, whatevs. Dealer's choice for standard post arrows. Thanks, Dusbeef. I appreciate the biddies. This is a matchup where Disfigure sounds great. Bedevil sounds good. Aether Gust sounds good. This is what I generally refer to as an all Doomblades on deck matchup. It is a matchup where we just want as many of our cards as possible that kill my opponent's creatures. So long as we're keeping their board clear, they should have a hard time winning the game. We depend on their creatures to kill us. Rankle's probably pretty medium here, right? I guess it's kind of a removal spell, kinda. Drowned the Loch's probably great here because they're often going to be ditching a bunch of cantrips into their bin. Let's give this a go. Is Ego for Arclight cute? I think so. So unlike like the Pioneer Phoenix deck where they have like Treasure Cruise to gas back up, these Phoenix decks, if you kill their birds once or twice, they have a hard time bringing them back consistently. Pre-release events. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of limited. I know, and especially like since you can play constructed with cards on Arena before... Since you can play with the cards on Arena now before those events even happen, there's like even less of a reason if you don't really like limited to go to them. Like some of the appeal of someone who never really liked limited was like, oh, you get to play with the cards in advance, and like now that's not even a part of it. Now, I don't really play many non-card games these days anymore, Tups and Hammer. I guess random Switch games count, but I mostly just play Switch games with my 4-year-old. So, I guess you could say I play a lot of DC Lego Villains. And what else do we play recently? Lego Villains, Luigi Mansion, Lego Incredibles. The Lego series games are excellent if you're someone that's looking to play a Switch game with the child. Quick Trick, thank you for the half of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Easy take on the finale here. Leave that there. Lego series are also good for parents who aren't good at games. That's also true. They're very forgiving games. Even the boss fights give you unlimited tries, and the bulk of a lot of them are puzzle solving, more so than like hammering through different levels of things. Nah, I'm kind of like past the point in my life where I'm like super interested in like grinding through a game like Pokemon games. Or kind of a grind. I don't have a ton of time anymore. I hope they give us back Field. I hope they give us back Field of the Dead in Historic. I also kind of hope that they give us back Oko and ban Nissa in this format. I think one of the things that Historic currently suffers from a little bit is that, in large part, because we don't have a huge card pool in this format, it does feel like Standard light in a lot of ways. And I think differentiating which powerful card we have at the top end of the format by removing Nissa and replacing it with Oko would make the gameplay functionally very different than Standard. Yeah, we knew they had double shock there, but like trading 3 cards for a Nicol Bolas is like a good exchange for us, right? Yeah, I agree. So they told us that these cards that were suspended, we would find out, they'd make a final decision when Theros releases, I believe, if I recall correctly. So if suspended doesn't actually mean banned, they're going to give us some of those cards back. However, if it's just a fancy way to ban a card and not give us wild cards for 3 months, they're going to ban everything. So I'm hoping that their use of the suspended list is in good faith and they're planning to give us some of those toys back when Theros releases or whenever their final decision happens. I thought they said at set release, but I don't recall exactly. Yes, once upon a time in Veil of Summer are horrendous design mistakes that should be shift deleted from Magic's forever. But I would like a chance to play with the fun toys again. I mean, like, they're flooding, right? So, while a 5th land would be nice, like, it's hard to complain too much here. We're pretty far ahead. I'm really hoping the fact that Historic doesn't have a paper component means that they will be more aggressive with suspending and unsuspending things because it doesn't come with implications of people's paper collections along with it. Like, I would believe they're hesitant to make too many rapid fire changes in formats that have paper repercussions. But I'm hoping that that's different with this format because of their ability to give out wild cards with it. Because, like, regardless of what they say about the secondary market, that has to be something in their mind, right? I probably should have played a Brazen Borrower there. Or this one's on autopilot. We are ready to go on an adventure. Yep. All right. Well, at one point today, we were 2 match wins away from Diamond. And after that win, we're now 5 match wins away from Diamond. Feels ladder, man. Oh, I need to restart the client. I will play one more. We'll lag through one more. Making a note, writing it down. This month's ladder rank, like, I guess it theoretically matters to me. Does it even really, though? Like, this month's ladder qualifies you for... This month's ladder ranking qualifies you for a thing that is worth $9 worth of gems. So I don't know. Does it matter? It doesn't really, I guess. You get to grind an entire month of the ladder to qualify for an event that could let you win $9 worth of gems. Never played in such a high stakes Magic tournament before. I think I'm a little nervous. I think my Grixis deck has died, chat. Meanwhile, on Magic Online, You can play a tournament for hundreds of dollars worth of prizes every single weekend in multiple formats. So, if you're interested in giving Magic's premier play client a try, would highly recommend Magic Online. I think we're dead here, right? Just like drawing Duresses here against creature decks. Feels Grixis, man. Aggro decks tend to be good against the flash decks. Although the blue-red flash deck is okay against aggro. I don't know if there's a good deck that's good against both of those things. Noxious Grasp is great here, but Bedevil is fine. Rankle's really bad against their deck full of 1/1s. Maybe Rankle's not good enough in this deck. Could definitely see that. Our Grixis decks have us heading down towards the sweet loving embrace of the Platinum 4 rank floor. The good news is, the way the ladder on Arena works is it doesn't really matter when you hit Mythic, you just have to have a good streak once you get there. Honestly, from a content perspective, it might be better for me to hit Mythic late and then just like try hard for the week before it resets. Which really speaks volumes to how silly the ladder system is. My spoiler article is tomorrow. I'm going to write my spoiler article tomorrow. It'll get published sometime next week. You thought the mythic number / percentage is based on MMR. It is, Critcha, but your matches played before you get to mythic don't impact that. Okay, Grixis stuff, you know? We're doing things. We're doing things, alright? It's a land, sign me up. No, Watsy didn't give me a spoiler. I'm just gonna sit down and go through all the spoilers that have already been spoiled and give my thoughts on them. This Wizards doesn't give stuff to Hoaglandia. We're Magic's. We're Magic's problem, children. Okay. You should know who you're associating with. Spectre's probably not good. They're gonna empty their hand. We're a rogue state. Yeah, there you go. Is the article going to be, it's useless to give opinion on the spoil to the full spoilers that in article? It's not. I'm not going to like put things in deck lists though. So if you want to see what a spoiler article for me looks like, if you click into my articles link here, I haven't written that much in recent memory, so it's pretty easy to get back to it. If you go look at my Eldraine spoiler article, you can get a feel for what my articles look like around spoiler season. You'll notice that instead of giving really strong opinions on things that we lack information about, and other silly things that lots of people like to do with spoiler articles, a little bit more conservative overall. All right, I think I'm just supposed to Bonecrusher the Paradise Druid since they're missing a land drop. Play this tapped land here, say go. Get to do this. Get to Thought Erasure and Aether Gust this turn. Perfect. Nikki B. Do I have triple black? Alright, I'm down with the Nikki B. We get to Gust something this turn, murder something next turn, Nikki B the turn after. I assume they're going to put this on top of their deck because it's good with Belt Collector. Really? Bottoms up, eh? I think their average draw is better than that. Interesting. Thanks, Fall Not Dead. You know, spoiler season, like many times around the year, is an easy time to get very clickbaity. I try not to be clickbaity. I try to identify cards that could potentially be powerful and talk about why they could be. Alright, well, second Nick especially, we're just going to go ahead and down tick here. I think without this, I might have upticked. Just because, like, a haste creature here would suck, but, like, Questing Beast is the only one that gets us here, right? Huh? I think I play this, because they have to remove a 1/1 counter from this to give it hexproof. So if they attack, I get to disfigure this, and then this will trade and eat it in combat. So it ends poorly for them regardless. Hey, no problem with questions like that, quick. Everybody starts somewhere. All right, solidly into garbage time here. Which means even though we haven't won the game yet, our opponent's not winning. Just gotta, like, take a little bit and wrap things up. Opponent agrees. Wergy, you're not new here. Make good card suggestions, not lazy ones. How are we doing today, folks? Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're out in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. If you're a new viewer, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream Magic full-time here on Twitch. I'm here 30, 40, sometimes even 50 hours a week. If you enjoy constructed best of 3 Magic, this is definitely the channel for you. We play a ton of Historic and Standard here on Magic Arena. We also play Pioneer almost every morning on Magic the Gathering Online, Magic's premier play client. As always, I love to give a shout out to my wonderful subs. I wouldn't be here day and day without their support, so thanks to all of them for keeping me employed. I'd also like to plug a couple of my wonderful sponsors here really quick. BCW Supplies, the only ones I trust to protect my paper. Trading cards using code HOAGLANDIA at bcwsupplies.com. You can save 10% on sleeves, binders, deck box, and all sorts of other fantastic gaming accessories there with them. Cardsphere.com is a peer-to-peer trading network that would love to help you turn your cards into other cards directly with other players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. InkGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of artwork that they already have on their website, such as my own Hoaglandia branded merchandise. And the Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series, a $5,000 cash tournament series that happens every single month in the Midwestern United States. If you can't make it out to the Midwest to play in one of their standard, modern, or legacy tournaments, you can check out their streaming coverage as well at twitch.tv/NRG series. And, of course,
don't make your life garbage time. Join us in Hoaglandia today by subscribing to Jeff Hoagland with Twitch Prime today.
Look at that. Didn't even miss a beat. Plenty of time to restart the client, chill, and still wait to find a match in the middle. Look at that. Leverage that downtime, chat. Leverage it. Once more under the breach. Peak, that is what peak efficiency looks like, indeed. Stands a little bit slow, but we're on the play this game, so it's probably fine. Hopefully fine, fingers crossed. Ah, hand was perfect, chat. It's very rare that I play a perfect game of Magic, but, you know, when you do, you know. Excellent. I'll take a freebie back up to Plat 1. The Ovens hit some rough matches. We hit both Kisis combo, Flash and Ramp. And the latter two, just Ramp and Kisis, just ran us down. I think I have to mulligan this just because the mana's really bad. Like, I need red, but I also need double and triple black. So I think we gotta play catch and release here. Oh, this hand is also not stellar, but it's probably keepable here. We're on the draw. Hopefully we hit a dual land on one. Sick. Nothing but net. Nothing but net. In fact, I'm going to lead on Castle Locthwain here, and then we can shock this in on 2 and play Thought Erasure. That was an excellent draw as well. Well, I didn't realize they were a monster. Okay, I guess we take this. I'm gonna bin that for now. I'm gonna bin that. Now, thankfully, Nicky B here is a card we don't mind getting bounced because he makes them discard a card each time. So if they're not fortunate enough to find their way into, say, a Absorb here, Nicol Bolas should hopefully help us generate a bunch of card advantage here.
Stand by and watch. Trust me, I have a plan.
Hypnotic Specter is actually a good pickup here. They need to Brazen Borrower that or Prison Realm at ASAP. So while I do need double black for, or double blue for this Brazen Borrower, I probably want to fetch the extra black so I can activate this castle first. I wonder if they're going to trade Brazen Borrower for Specter here. We're just bouncing it, sure. Weird that they shocked in, huh? Wonder if they have a veto. They have a quench, maybe? Disdainful Stroke? Syncopate? Syncopate's legal in this format? It could be a Syncopate. Maybe I'm supposed to play Hypnotic Specter again to play around Syncopate. Just opt. Everything worked out better than expected, chat. Everything worked out better than expected. It could perhaps be right to just Bonecrusher this Teferi here, because he is getting up to 3 next turn, which is a little worrisome. And they could like play land, time wipe my Nicol Bolas next turn. Second Borrower wouldn't give them a pause there, because there isn't a target for them to bounce with it. Because they can't bounce their own card. If that's a card out of the new set, I haven't really been looking at spoilers. I'm gonna sit down tomorrow night to look through the first round of spoilers and put some thoughts into article form. Now we're left in a pretty bad spot here, honestly. I guess if these aren't good, maybe we could be okay. I guess I just replay this for now. The problem is Teferi bounces it, but at least that takes the Teferi off the table, I suppose. The fact that this card, doesn't make them discard when it hits Planeswalkers is real bad here. Feels like we're into garbage time at this point. Yeah, like making them discard a card every turn is much worse than drawing a card. They get to do this, and like, they just have so many more resources than we do at this point. If I had, it's a shame I didn't have another blue there. If I would have had another blue, I could have borrowed this back to their hand and then answered it. So maybe I fetched wrong. Maybe. Yeah, we're pretty good at this point. This is a game where the game's not going to end for probably double-digit turns. Honestly, their deck is so slow. But it's a game that we are not going to win, so might as well pack it in now. Rankle has not felt impressive in here. The idea with it making them draw and then discarding with Specter is nice, but feels like more of a pipe dream than something that's going to happen consistently. Bonecrusher is like just okay. I wonder why you didn't shock the Borrower, and then I remember what a fair and balanced Planeswalker did. Yes, we were playing Hearthstone, so the reason why I didn't drown in the Loch anything or shock anything in response was because there's no responses when you're playing Hearthstone. It's really kind of sad in a way, because I feel like the intricacies of playing control mirrors was one of the best things about Magic. It was really, really unique and offered fantastic gameplay that was very different than a lot of other games. And I really feel like 3-mana Teferi and Narset remove the elements of that gameplay that are unique and interesting. Yeah, big agree. And it's not even that I think the card's too powerful, because like on a power level perspective, it's mostly okay. It's just what it does to the game when it hits the battlefield is just really, really dry. Yeah, Dovin's Veto as well. I think Dovin's Veto is one that's more subtle, but I agree that Dovin's Veto being an uncounterable negate, it's a card that removes what used to be like, there used to be like a lot of posturing is the best descriptor for it, I think, in the early to mid terms of a control mirror. And with Veto, a lot of that intricacy of like setting up to like do something at their end step where you pick a fight and then untapping and picking another fight on your turn to forcing through your play, the sequencing decisions that went into that were mostly removed by the fact they could just be like, nope. And it's really interesting that Veto really changed that dynamic when Counterflux was a card that was legal for forever, and just the fact that that card cost more mana was such a big deal, I guess, would be the difference between it. Veil is different because Veil's not really a card that the control decks are playing. So like Veil was a card that you could use against control decks, whereas Teferi and Veto are cards the control decks themselves are playing, and I think that distinction is important. So one of the things, so I don't even know that it's just understanding Magic at a higher level to enjoy the control mirrors. I think one of the problems with the control mirrors in the era that you're talking about is that the control mirrors in that era with Big Teferi spent so much time in garbage time, it was unreasonable. The fact that R&D missed that, the fact that they missed that you can use Teferi to tuck himself was such a huge deal. So the fact that that allowed these control decks to not play win conditions was a big deal overall. I'm gonna pay 6 life and draw a card, because I'm pretty sure that's what this game is about. As someone who played Jeskai and Blue-White Control in Modern, long before the introduction of War of the Spark, I love being able to time my counters against other control decks, knowing what to fight over, but now the whole aspect of control is gone, even for non-controlling decks, so just be instant speed no. Yeah. Yeah, Drown in the Loch being close to playable probably stops being the case when escape cards get introduced. I agree with that. It's a big part. This card is not playable in Pioneer for the most part because the matches where you want this effect have Dig Through Time or Treasure Cruise, rendering it useless for a similar reason. Okay. You're great. Thanks for your critical mind and all the content, especially for the organized YouTube. Thanks for the 3 months. Spread the fun. I really appreciate the support. Thanks for keeping me around making stuff. Wouldn't be here without folks like you. Sweet to see almost 1,500 people in here for Historic this afternoon. Thanks everybody for dropping by. I think I want to Drown in the Loch. This card's a little bit more narrow than some of the others. The fact that I don't have quad black here is going to be a little bit awkward, because it means if I want to play this out, I can't also kill this, which probably means I'm in a spot where, oh, that's a good draw. I guess we start with this. Maybe I'm supposed to wait on this. Oh, vomit. Well, ooh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we get to do this here. And then they go Teferi plus Teferi draw a card. We Thought Erasure. They absorb the Thought Erasure. We Bedevil the Teferi. Yeah, this feels like exactly the style of matchup that Hypnotic Specter should be like this slam dunk ace in. And it really hasn't been good here, huh? Like, between Brazen Borrower and 3-mana Teferi, it just gets tempoed into oblivion. I mean, to be fair, the creature combat aspect of Magic is probably one of the most unique aspects of the game. Yeah, I guess I could get punished here if they have double counterspell. Like, if they don't take the bait on this, and they have 2 counters, I might not get to kill the Teferi. Yeah, this was a premier threat in Magic once upon a time. Seeing it here is kind of like sobering commentary on like how Magic designs have changed. Yeah, that's true. Dark Ritual turn 1 Spectre was real good. Was largely being played on the first turn of the game. If they have some kind of removal spell here for my Spectre, I probably just let it resolve. I think this Negate is being reserved for fighting over one of their threats. Like a Teferi, for instance. Also, something else that someone had asked about and talked about earlier was, how does this card compare to Thief of Sanity? And like, would I rather be hitting them with Hypnotic Specter here, or would I rather be hitting them with Thief of Sanity? I think hitting them with Thief of Sanity would probably be better here, huh? Like, potentially drawing a counterspell off the top of their deck is probably miles better than taking a random card out of their hand. Thief's only better if you want to win. Good breakdown, good assessment. Yes, it is also easier to cast, that's true. And like here, right? Like I protected my Spectre, and it's literally Windrake, right? This is literally like, if this was a Thief of Sanity, we'd be like drawing a card off their deck. But like, we have a 2/2 flyer for 2. Yeah, I'm gonna try and slog out this one and see if we can poke through this. I'll probably be the last one with this deck. Alright, never mind. I'm off it. Let's try the Fires deck. I think the Fires deck has a lot more potential to this one. That was a freebie anyways, right? 'Cause we're at the floor. Yeah. All things considered, Rankle was real disappointing in this deck that didn't really have good ways to leverage it. The drawing a card mode on this card isn't particularly good when you're not killing your opponent aggressively with the cards in your hand and you're like clunking up a bunch of other cards. Hypnotic Specter was like much worse than Thief of Sanity would have been in most of the games. Yeah. Alright. We're not done yet though. We've got at least one more deck today, and if we stay with the good viewer count, I might sneak in another one after this. 1,500 people is pretty great. We're going to try some Grixis Fires up next. I'm going to hit a very quick ad roll. We'll be back in about 60 seconds. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Don't go anywhere.